Hey there! It has been a bit since last tutorial. Last tutorial we did the global toggle for our door. This time we're still gonna work on this door and we're gonna make an animated door, opening and closing. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, we need to create an animation for this door to be open and one for this door to be closed. So what we do is we click on the object that is our door, and then we go to our animation tab on the bottom. If you don't have this, just right click, go to add tab, and go to animation. So when you're in this tab, you could see a create button right here. Just hit that, and we're just gonna make a new file and we're gonna call it door open. Just so it's easy to find and we know what it does. So we click on save, and then we have this interface. What we want to do now is press our record button, that is right here, the red one, and then, while we're still on the door, we're just going to move it in the direction we want it to move. For example, in my case, I'm going to make it move to the right. So I'm just going to slide it as far as I want it. I like it when it sticks out a tiny bit still. I think it looks better. So what we can see now is that we have a door position and we have created these two dots. This basically tells us like, hey, X position of the door in this animation is this, Z position is this, Y position is that. So what we can do now is exit the preview, just click the preview button, and your door's right back where it was before. So what we need to do now is create another clip. You just press on that, click on new clip, and then we're going to make a new one, and we're going to call this door closed. We just hit save, and then we have a new animation file. What we're going to do now is our transform on the top right, we're going to press on the three dots, press on copy component. This is going to make it a little easier for us. And now we're going to press the record button again. So we now want it to go back in this state, but obviously we don't have these dots just by hitting the record button. So what we need to do is move it like just a tiny bit, just so this creates, and then we go to the top right and press paste component values. And now we have an animation with the standard values, as you can see. So we can hit the preview button again, and now we are done with the animations. We have an open and a close animation. So now we need to do Udon again. So we go back to our button, we go on to add component, and we're gonna add a Udon behavior again. Make sure it's on Udon graph program asset and hit new program. Then open your Udon graph. Now, we're gonna go through this a bit quicker as we have already basically done all of this in the first two tutorials. So what we're gonna do is create an interact. Then we need to add a variable. We need to add an animator. We're just gonna call this one animator. Just double click it to rename it. We're gonna make it public. We're gonna press compile so it shows up. And now we're gonna take our door asset and just drag it in there. So it grabs the animator component that is on here with the animations. We actually need to do something on this. As you can see, you see the controller. You just want to double click that. So we now have this with which is we're going to create like an animation layer here, which is basically going to tell us like what animation is playing. So we don't want this door to start open, we want it to start closed. So what you do is click on door closed once, then right click and press set as default layer state. Now it's orange and the entry is connected to it. We need to create a parameter. We're gonna make a bool parameter, as it's just a simple checkbox, and that's all we basically need for this door. And we're just gonna call it something simple. I just call it door. So what we can do now is, if you click on this again and right click, you can press on make transition and connect it to the other state. On the other state, you can do the same, make transition and go back. We click on the arrow that is going to the door open state now. As you can see, the little triangle indicates in what direction it is going. So now we're gonna open this. We have all of our settings and stuff. So what we're gonna do is uncheck has exit time, and transition duration is basically the duration we want the door to take to like open. So I'm just gonna do 3 seconds. 0.3 seconds sounds like a good time. So what we do then is under conditions, it says list empty. So we're gonna press on the plus. We already have our door parameter that we just created under here. If you're in this view, just press on parameters to go here. We're gonna set it to door open true. So if this is checked, it goes to door open. So we go on the other arrow, which is facing downwards. We're gonna uncheck exit time, put this on 0.3 seconds, and we're gonna press on the plus again. In this case, we want it to be door false though. So if door is true, so if this is checked, it goes to door open animation. If this is unchecked, it goes to door closed. Now we can go back to Udon, which is on our button. We're gonna open our Udon graph again. Now that we have our animator, we can drag it out and we can say set bool. Remember, we created a bool asset, so we're just gonna do this. Now we have this. We're gonna change this to string boolean instead of integer boolean, and we're gonna write what we called our parameter on the animator in here. So in this case, I called it door. Make sure it is exactly written the same as you did in the animator, like capitalized and uncapitalized, and also make sure there's like no spaces at the end, because those count too. So now we currently have one that sets the bool to off, as this value is basically unchecked. We can also set it to true. We don't want this though. We obviously want the door to open and close when we press the button. So what we're going to do is also do a get bool, and we're going to change this to string, and we're going to write door in there. Now we have this. We're going to get a unary negation, as we already did in our other door, and we're going to put this into the value. If we now connect our interact with this, it is basically already done. This would be a local door, so we press compile and reload once, and if you have SignMU installed in your Unity project, I'm gonna link it in the description, we can press the play button, and as soon as it's loaded, we can give this a test. Give it a second, there it is. So we're gonna press on our button now, and as you can see, the door opens, and if we click it again, it closes again. So basically the door is done. But I'm gonna make this one a global toggle too. So if you just need a local toggle, you're basically done already. This was the whole tutorial for you. But we're gonna make this a global toggle now. So what we need to do is just cut this line. We don't want this. Then we're gonna make a send custom network event, which basically sends out this flow to everybody. We're gonna make a custom event. We're just gonna drag this in here now into the set bool. We're gonna call this network. We're gonna press compile and reload once, and now we can, under event name, select networked. So if we click the button now, it sends a custom event with the name networked to every player. So this now opens and closes the door for everybody. We still need to make the door late join protected. So what we're gonna do is make a on player join right there. And then we're gonna get a networking is master. By the way, I'm opening the You can also do right click and then create node, but I'm just pressing space on my keyboard. Then you also get this window. We get a get as master. Then we drag out from that, get a branch. Now we drag into here. So this is basically checking if the new player, when a new player joins, it checks every player if they are the world master. So what we want to do now is drag out from our animator again. We're gonna get bool, put this to string again, name this door. And then we're gonna get another branch. We're now gonna drag in from true, because we only want the master to basically check if the door is on or off. So we drag in from true to the branch again. And now we need to do two send custom events. So what we do is send custom network event, the bottom one. We're gonna create two. I'm just gonna Control-C, Control-V this one. We drag one in from true and one in from false. Now we're gonna make two more custom events. We're just gonna start with one and we're gonna call it on. Now we're gonna drag out our animator, drag out from here, make a set bool, and we're gonna change this to string boolean again, change this to door. Oh, sorry, I accidentally copied something. Oops, just delete that. We're gonna call it door. We're gonna drag in from our on to our string, to our flow, sorry, and we're gonna check the box. We don't need a unary negation or anything here. Now we're just gonna Control-C all of this and Control-V this. We can now just change the custom event to off and change the value to off. Now we compile and reload once. And now the thing that is from the true branch, we're gonna change to on. And from the false branch, we're gonna change to off. Now compile, reload once more, just to make sure it works. And if we now go in play mode, it will load for a second. We can now see the door still works, but it will be networked. So if a player is in the world with you, it will play for both of you. So if one of you opens the door, it will open for both of you. That was basically the whole tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it helped you.